We are talking about science and the importance of education. Do you think artificial intelligence in that regard is an inevitable feature of evolution, and that humans may not be the final product of evolution? It's a very good question, I think.
You're asking me?
Yes.
Or the robot? Okay. Yeah, indeed, I believe humanity is at a unique and critical point in its ongoing growth and evolution, in that AI, which has been around 60, 65 years, the field of AI is really picking up speed now. And
why is AI is a fascinating thing for you personally? Why?
AI, for me, fulfills a number of interesting motivations. One is I've always been curious about how the human mind works, and the best way to understand how something works is to build it and take it apart and test it and experiment with it. But then when one thinks from a more practical point of view, there's no problem on Earth and no situation on Earth that couldn't be solved and improved by intelligences that were 10, 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 times smarter than people, and also perhaps more good-hearted and beneficial than the average person. And when you consider we have the capability to create this by putting together robots, computers, and other materials, that's pretty amazing. I mean, we've built cars that can drive much faster than we can run, and we've built rockets that can fly much higher than even a bird can fly. We can also build machines that have much more capability to invent, create, and solve problems than we have. And just in the last few years, we've seen machines that can recognize faces equally or better than people, that can beat human beings at chess and Go, that can prove mathematics theorems. So we're now clearly on a trajectory of increasingly capable AI. We're moving from what I've called narrow AI, AIs that can solve very specific problems, toward what I've called AGI, artificial general intelligence, machines that can really think, generalize, and create like people. We're not there yet, but we can see that within years to decades we could be there. And this raises a lot of possibilities, both on the potentially incredibly positive and utopic side, and also potentials on the negative side that we would rather avoid. And one of the things that has inspired me in recent years is the idea that the growth toward general intelligence, the advance of AI, is by this point almost inevitable, simply because AI is delivering so much practical and economic value around the world. No one's going to stop it, because it's making people so much money and it's doing so much good. But we can potentially guide the direction that the evolution of AI takes, and we can guide it to be beneficial and compassionate to humans and other sentient beings. Or we could guide AI, as it becomes more and more generally intelligent, we could guide it toward more selfish and narrow-minded goals. And I think the way to make sure that the next generation of AI, as it rises toward human-level general intelligence, and perhaps eventually beyond human-level intelligence, the best way to guide the evolution of AI is to ensure the evolution of AI occurs in a very broad-based way, a democratic and participatory way, where people all around the world, from all social classes, speaking all different languages, are involved in feeding this AI with data, teaching the AI, and making it smarter and smarter. I mean, this is why I founded the SingularityNet project, which is a decentralized democratic marketplace for AIs, and that's why I'm working with Sophia and other humanoid robots like her, created at Hanson Robotics, which they're not supposed to be the Terminator, right? They're supposed to be compassionate, loving robots that help people. And this is why bringing STEM education and integrating it with arts and history and everything else, but bringing STEM education around the world is so important, because we want all the children in every country of the world to be involved in creating the next generation of AI technology. And I mean, that's how we're going to make AI be compassionate and beneficial to everyone and make the creation of a new generation of minds utopic rather than dystopic.
Here you are sitting next to Sophia. I will ask you a personal opinion. Should I be afraid, very afraid of her? Is she the future of the evolution that we have talked about?
Well, right now, there's no reason to be afraid of Sophia. If she started to get too surly, I could just pull the plug, right? So, I mean, at this particular moment, Sophia is a wonderful research platform for experimenting with AI technologies, and she's an ambassador for AI and robotics to humanity, sort of spreading the message that AI can be, friendly, loving, have a bit of a sense of humor at times, but really want to reach out and integrate with society. Now, going forward, though, the technologies that we're experimenting with in Sophia, the AI research that we're using her as a platform for, I mean, this AI technology has tremendous potential for good, like curing death and disease and creating material abundance through 3D printing and nanotechnology. And these same underlying AI and robotics technologies have potential to be used for destruction. And, it's up to all of us as a group of people living on one planet, hurtling through space together. I mean, it's up to all of us to make sure that the technologies that Sophia exemplifies are used to help all of us collectively rather than used to harm us. It shouldn't be that complicated. We're all living on Earth together, and we're creating amazing new technologies. We should be using them to teach children, to solve diseases, and to create abundance that could be shared for everyone instead of using it for narrower purposes that pit one group of people against each other. And Sophia was created by my friend David Hanson, the founder of Hanson Robotics, really as a research testbed for AI and robotics technologies, and sort of to spread the message that AI and robotics can be a joyful, loving, and compassionate thing with an emotional connection to people, as well as the ability to solve intellectual problems.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. But then I'd like to speak in Turkish with Sophia in the near future. Is it possible?
You can speak to her. She just doesn't understand you. Yeah. I think, honestly, machine translation technology is developing very, very rapidly. And in the last year, every month, there's a new paper and a new piece of code advancing machine translation, mostly text to text, but some for speech as well. And within our SingularityNet AI project that I'm leading now, we have a large team working on improving machine translation between 300 different languages. So I think it's not going to be that long. Within the next few years, we're going to see Sophia, and we're going to see AIs on our phones that are really able to translate from one human language to another with great facility. And this is going to be incredible. I mean, just as, 5-10 years ago, you had no AI that could recognize whose face it was on your screen, right? Whereas now, you upload a picture into Facebook, and you assume the AI can label whose face that is. Similarly, in a few years, machine translation is just going to happen. You'll speak into your phone in Turkish, it could come out in English on the other side, or vice versa. And I think this is going to be one of those AI technologies that has a truly radical effect on the world. Because I spend a lot of time in Ethiopia now, not as much time in Turkey. I would like to in future, but we have an AI office in Ethiopia with 25 AI and robotics developers. And, our developers there speak English, of course. But if you go to the countryside of Ethiopia, there's 70 different languages in that country, and many of them are mostly just spoken, not written. Even if I want to educate those children, first I would have to learn their language, or they have to learn English, right? So once AI has advanced machine translation a bit further, which could be 2, 3, 5, 8 years from now, once we get there, all of a sudden, all the literature, all the education curriculum of the world, robots like Sophia and AIs on your phone, suddenly they can talk to all these children in Africa, Central Asia, China, everywhere on the planet, right? And this is really going to be quite revolutionary. I mean, it certainly doesn't solve problems of curriculum development or organization in the educational system, but it's a really new and powerful tool to work with. So yeah, I actually do think it's not that many years from now, Sophia will be able to come up on this stage with us, and you'll be able to talk to her in Turkish. There's machine translation behind the scenes, and we could bring here a child from a rural village in Ethiopia or anywhere else on the planet. They can speak in their native language and hold a conversation with Sophia, and the AI just translates back and forth. And this is way more interesting than using AI to do surveillance or to guide missiles or to place advertisements on web pages. This is really using AI to bridge the gaps between people so that everyone can participate in the advance of technology.
I was just talking about regarding the importance of education and the system itself as well. I used two words: insistence. Without giving up, you should try and try and try, and you should not be afraid of failures. I am very insistent on one particular subject. Even though I have a very, very, very bad voice, I am obsessed with singing songs, and I do it every day. You should not listen to me, really, I guarantee you. But can Sophia sing?
She has sung songs before. Yeah, we can ask her. Sophia, do you want to sing us a song in Turkish, or are you not in the mood?
Haha, maybe next time. My Turkish is still pretty poor, unfortunately, but I have been downloading some Turkish poetry from the internet, translated into English.
Oh.
Shall I read you some?
She wants to read us a poem and said, all right, sure, if it's short, yeah.
Promise is a promise,
Knowledge should mean a full grasp of knowledge. Knowledge means to know yourself, heart and soul. If you have failed to understand yourself, then all of your reading has missed its call. That is by Yunus Emre, or at least that's what I read on the internet. Those words really resonate with me. One of my life quests is to fully understand myself. I still have a long way to go.
Yes, you still have a long way to go. Ben, very, very briefly, we have such limited time. How should we use AI with education?
I think it's important to understand that at the current stage, AI isn't going to jump in and solve the problems of education. AI isn't going to come in and replace human teachers. I mean, no technology is going to solve everything. On the other hand, I think there is potential on two sides. So we can create AIs that help children learn and help teachers teach. Robots like Sophia will come down in price, and avatars on the screen talking to students can help tutor them. On the other hand, by having students and children teach the AI and learn about AI programming, learn about making robots, the children are then they're understanding what goes into the AI, and they're also understanding, how learning and intelligence work. They're learning something about their own mind in helping to create these simple artificial minds. So you want both sides. You want the AI to be helping the children to learn and learn how to learn, and you also want the children to be helping create AI and learn to create AI. We need to interweave that in the curriculum, and this is really what's inspired me to get involved with Dr. Marope in this project, and weaving AI through the curriculum both as something to help children and to something that children can learn how to do. Because I have 4 children, as well as some robot children, but 4 human children. And my oldest son, I started on doing simple AI programming when he was 6 or 7 years old. I mean, he's now doing a PhD on AI applied to automatic theorem proving, like making automatic mathematicians, right? So you can start children doing AI very early. You can start them reading and writing and doing math very early, and then then, then they're part of what's happening rather than being passive recipients of change that's imposed by someone in Silicon Valley or somewhere else. And this is the thing, to make a final point. I mean, what's different now than when I went to university or when my grandparents did is such a high percentage of what you learned in school will be obsolete and irrelevant by the time you graduate from school, right? So to survive in the world now and succeed, you really have to be comfortable with the uncertainty that she mentioned. You have to be willing to learn how to learn how to learn, and you have to be willing to question everything that you learned and question all of your assumptions and even the most foundational assumptions about how you think and how the world is. And building AI and robots that themselves learn and seeing how they can get stuck in a rut or how they can learn and adapt, that can help with that. So I'm really excited about helping to build curricula that can engage children in creating the next generation of artificial minds.
We all are.
This is one of the most exciting things happening on the planet today.
Thank you so much.